I, 29F, am not sure how to be friendly with my husband's, 30M, supposedly great ex-girlfriend. My husband and I have been together for a couple years, married for a few months. We're happy and great together, but I've been having a recurring issue with one of his exes. He's a loyal friend and extremely respectful of the women he's dated, and he's friends with all his exes. I'm not jealous by nature, and I was happy that he had no history of bad breakups, infidelity, or any on-again off-again relationships that would have made friendships with his exes impossible. His breakups have always been amicable and permanent. However, his most recent serious ex has been an issue from me since I first met her a few months into our relationship. They dated for several years, broke up a couple of years before he and I met. They both dated casually during that time. They moved a couple of times during their relationship, so they have a wide base of mutual friends. By all accounts, she's a smart, funny, feminist, independent person, and I was looking forward to meeting her initially. However, I am now at the point where I cannot stand her. Whenever I'm around her, she ignores or interrupts me and talks almost entirely to my husband. She always somehow manages to bring up obscure shared memories, mutual friends, inside jokes, and any number of topics I just can't engage in. After I pointed this out after our first meeting, he's tried to mitigate it by asking me direct questions or redirecting towards me when we're all conversing, but she somehow derails it every time. She seems generally uninterested in me as a person and focused, though I think subconsciously, on reiterating how strong their bond is. They talk frequently online, mostly about totally non-personal topics such as politics, which isn't an issue by itself since he talks online with a lot of people, as do I, many of them close female friends whom I have no problem with. The issue is that I feel like 1, she doesn't respect me or my place in his life. 2, I find their extensive shared history a lot to deal with. She's never made any kind of comment about how she wishes they were still together or anything negative about me at all. But I feel like she acts like they're still in a relationship. She calls him in minor emergencies like getting locked out or asks him to lunches during the day, when I can't join. Also, her parents love him and still keep in touch with emails and cards. When we got married, she somehow ended up planning most of his bachelor party, a low-key dinner and games night, because his best man lived out of town, though I know he didn't ask her. Recently, she's been confiding in him that she has major commitment issues, some health problems, childhood trauma, etc. She's asked for his advice at getting back into dating. As I said, she's never crossed a major line, but her presence in my life bothers me quite a lot. Early on, my husband talked about how he thought we'd get along because we seemed to have a lot in common, which was pretty weird. I see what he means, as we do have some similar traits and interests, but not in a way that can allow us to be friends. I'm at the point now where I just don't want to hear about her anymore, which I feel like makes it seem like a bigger deal than it is. Recently, he's offered to stop talking to her altogether. I don't want to make him end a friendship for my sake when, once again, she hasn't really done anything wrong. I'd honestly love to be friendly with his exes, as that seems very feminist and sensible, but frankly I just don't like her and I think she's pushy and insensitive. I'm positive she has no idea how much her behavior bothers me, which makes me feel petty and insecure. Adding to this, I feel like I'm redirecting a lot of my generalized anxiety and frustration about my life, job I don't love, figuring out finances as an adult, lifelong struggle with anxiety and sadness, towards her as a specific source of all my issues. I think I'm sending my husband a lot of mixed messages of no, this is fine, I can deal with this because I'm a confident adult, and this is literally the most intolerable thing I've ever dealt with and it's all your fault. He's willing to talk to me about it as much as I need and, as I said, he's offered to cut off contact, though this seems a little unfair to him and, I suspect, will become an issue in their group of friends. Either way, I could use some outside perspective. Too long, didn't read. I want to be friends with my husband's ex-girlfriend, but I just can't stand her. Edit. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for all the thoughtful advice and comments, they really seem to run the gamut. I just wanted to clarify or respond to a few things. As most people seem to have picked up, I am 100% certain that there is no chance of him cheating on me with her, or anyone. I trust him and believe he genuinely has my best interests at heart here, but he would understandably prefer to figure out a way to make me feel better without totally ending a friendship that is meaningful to him, if possible. I am in therapy. I do think that my reaction to this situation is bigger and messier as a result of my own issues and insecurities, but that's not the only thing going on. He has learned to notice many of these tendencies, and he has tried to mitigate them. He does a lot of, "Oh, wife, you were just telling me about, blank. Why don't you tell, blank, story?" As well as a lot of visible touching of me in a "here is my wife, whom I love deeply" kind of way. I appreciate this very much, but these conversations are still a huge effort, and tend to oscillate back and forth wildly between awkward for me because she is talking over me and awkward for me because he is overcompensating. By feminist, I meant that I think I have a lot to like/respect in women who have also previously loved my husband, rather than letting romantic jealousy define our relationship. But I do think the folks who pointed out that this mindset may be unnecessarily complicating my feelings/confusion over the matter are probably correct. I think I have made my discomfort clear, which is why I'm at the should I ask him/let him let this relationship fade out crossroads. I'm asking for advice for me, but also for him, to some extent. I think he and I would both like to resolve this in a way as low drama as possible. If it's possible that the ex is aware of what she's doing, I think it's equally possible that she is actually trying hard to be respectful, thus not crossing any major lines and making her intention to start dating again very clear, and just doing a bad job of it because she has some unresolved feelings. In the grand scheme of things, this is a fairly minor issue, but it feels like an important moment in deciding how our marriage is going to go in terms of managing the other relationships in our lives and respecting each other's space and boundaries. This may, in fact, ultimately be a non-issue that just fades away, but it's causing grief for me at the moment. I appreciate everyone weighing in. Edit too long, didn't read, husband equals good. Ex-girlfriend equals maybe just having a hard time. Wife equals almost just accidentally wrote ex-girlfriend and so is maybe not compartmentalizing great.
Hey guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. It would really help me out, thanks.
From what you're describing, I think she knows how she's treating you. She's deliberately icing you out of conversations and trying to marginalize you in his eyes. I'm friends with some of my exes, including my ex-husband. When I meet and so, I intentionally focus conversations on her, so that she doesn't feel threatened, and I don't lose a friend. It's common sense, and it isn't difficult. She keeps bringing up the past because she has literally no other way to maintain relevance in his life. He offered to drop her. Take it. Accepting his offer doesn't necessarily make it your decision. I've, 29F, just found out that my boyfriend, 35M, of 5 years and lifelong best friend have a child, 2M, together. Michael just told me at dinner that he has a child with my lifelong best friend, Maria. Technically we weren't together when they had romance, because we were on a temporary mutual break away from each other, so he didn't cheat. Apparently they forgot to use condoms and so she became pregnant with his child. Maria had been trying to get pregnant for a long time, but I think her boyfriend is infertile, so she decided to keep the baby and is telling her boyfriend that it is his, so he has no idea. I don't have to tell him. Should I? I don't know if I can carry on like I don't know anything, which is what he expected. He's actually shocked and surprised I'm taking it this badly, and he thought I wouldn't mind and wouldn't think of her and him differently. It's hurting me that they have a child together, accident or not. Plus, it also hurts that they've had romance, as I had no idea about that either until tonight. What the hell do I do? I haven't called Maria yet and right now I'm sitting alone in the bedroom refusing to speak to Michael. Am I overreacting? What do I do? Too long, didn't read boyfriend and best friend slept together while we were on a break and have a child together. I've only found about this tonight and I don't know what to do or how to react. It's hurting a lot and I don't know what to do. Boyfriend expected me to be fine with it. I think this shows a lot about the sort of human being your boyfriend is. He fathers a child with a friend and then thinks that is perfectly hunky-dory to pass it off as another man's child. It's deceptive and disgusting. He as his friend should be ashamed. I would never be able to look the same way at this man again. I'd also be questioning his actual relationship with the friend if their first instinct is to jump in bed when you're on a break. ETA, the 2-year-old bit just dawned on me. He hid this for 2 years. OP, if he truly thought you'd be fine with it, you would have been told almost 3 years ago when he knew he'd fathered a child. My 34 meters, 33F wife's friend 31F, cheated at a bachelorette party with a male stripper 23 meters, my wife has helped her cover it up. There are a lot of people in this, so I am going to use fake names to help tell you all what happened without giving away our personal info. My wife and I have been married for 8 years and we have a lot of mutual friends. One of my wife's college friends was having a bachelorette party, and she invited a lot of people including my wife, and her friend Cara. My wife came back from the party at 2 a.m. She told me that the party was wild, that there was this really cute male stripper. I started to get nervous about the whole thing. I say this because one of my gym buddies in college used to do stripping and he bragged that he had slept with a lot of women through it. I started asking my wife more about what happened, but she said that besides getting man thong in her face nothing happened, that I am being silly, that guys do far more salacious things. However, I talked to one of our mutual friend Dan, and he told me that his wife told him that 2 of the girls supposedly spent the night at a motel with the stripper. I ended up confronting my wife asking who it was, because I know from other sources. She told me that it was Cara and some other girl we didn't know that well. That it's none of our business what Cara does, and that she didn't want me to go around saying stuff. And that Cara needed a good ducking, because she had an arranged marriage. The thing is, we are good friends with Cara's husband. I have talked to him, he is an extremely nice and hard-working guy. The other thing is that, talking to my wife, Cara and the male stripper supposedly slept together a few more times after the motel. I really want to tell Cara's husband. I feel like he deserves to know, and that if it was me there I definitely would want to know. My wife told me that I don't know their marriage, and well, she told me that if I do it, there will be serious consequences for our marriage. I want to somehow tell Cara's husband in an anonymous way, but I don't know how. Ideally my wife would come around and tell him, but I don't think that's happening. What should I do? Too long, didn't read. My wife's friend cheated on her husband at a bachelorette party. 2 of my GF's best friends were cheating on their husbands, and my GF was totally okay with it. Then she cheated on me. Beware of someone who's totally okay with cheating. She knows if you drop the dime on Cara, Cara will dime on her, too. I wonder how many times Cara has covered for your wife. Edit, thanks for gold, kind stranger.